Hvitserk, he's grown up to be quite a man. He was always the fighter between him and Ube. They've been very, very close, but he turned out to be the fighter.
On the surface, he's one of the pleasantest of the sons, but actually, he's very dark, and we don't realize that for quite a while. And then when we see it, it makes sense of certain things we saw before.
If it's true that our father lied to his people and abandoned them, then I hope he never comes back.
He betrayed our name. If he ever came back, I would kill him.
He is going to go with Bjorn on the journey to the Mediterranean. So he shares, I think, that the family trait of curiosity.
So I told you, I'm committed to going with Bjorn. I can't go with father.
Bjorn has this map, and he wants me to go raiding with him. And I'm gonna do that because I think he's the new guy around, he's the new leader. And when Ragnar asked me if I want to come with him, I'm completely silent because I know what I want to do.
What do you say, Hvitserk?
I think that Hvitserk likes a role model, somebody to replace Ragnar. And I think you find that in Bjorn.
How far along are you with your plans? Floki is building the boat. Hvitserk has agreed to come with me, as well as King Harald and his brother.
Hvitserk wants some of the things that Ragnar had. I'm not talking about the legacy, I'm talking about the territories that he had. And by doing that, he's gonna gain some legacy, some glory.
May the gods be with you, brother.
Fans can expect incredible season, absolutely incredible season.
Perhaps we should make a sacrifice.
They're gonna love it. There are gonna be some major changes, some major battles. It's gonna be absolutely epic.
Farewell, my heart. Farewell. For now.
At the beginning of season 5, Floki has pretty much lost everything. He's lost his daughter, he's lost his best friend, and now he's also lost his wife. So he feels that he has nothing to live for anymore in this world.
He feels almost as if he's died, or certainly something inside him has died, and he has to leave.
What I am now is nothing. And all this nothing I give to the gods to do with as they please. And I shall be an empty ship with no rudder set upon their endless sea.
As he says in the end of season 4, he kind of submits himself to the gods. He's kind of realized that whatever he's tried before hasn't worked. The violence and the killing, and he's had it with all that.
Floki! Why are you building a toy boat? Huh?
It's not a toy. It's a one-man boat.
And where do you think you're going to sell it to?
To where the gods decide.
So he makes a boat for himself. A small boat, a boat that one man can handle. And without taking any navigational equipment at all, he sails away in it, trusting that the gods will take him somewhere. He's both escaping from something and trying to arrive somewhere.
He has this kind of awakening. He's kind of reborn in a pagan sense. He regathers his strengths and he becomes strong again.
Allfather, þakka þér fyrir þessar sýnir.
Certainly, Floki interprets it ultimately as being that he has died and been reborn. So it's a different Floki that we see in season 5.
Floki has always been very weighted down by his own demons, and he's been very aggressive, and he's been very hateful, and it hasn't led him to anything good ever. So I think, like, for him to motivate his own existence, he has to kind of give himself to a greater cause. He wants to be a better person, or to be something he wasn't before.
Queen Lagertha, I bring wonderful news. The great army led by your son, Bjorn Ironside, succeeded in avenging the death of Ragnar Lothbrok.
In the beginning of season 5, Lagertha is queen. She's running Kattegat. She has a lot of responsibility in terms of making decisions, what's best for her people. Kattegat becomes really the major city in Norway. So with that comes a lot of threats.
She's determined to try and protect it, but she's also determined to rule it well.
She has seen enough bloodshed in her lifetime, and she wants to make decisions and try to rule in a different way. Also trying to rule in a more intellectual way than necessarily her male counterparts.
Today marks a new dawn for Kattegat, for all of us.
Lagertha has been betrayed by many men. Obviously by Ragnar in season 1, her second husband. Kalf betrayed her by trying to usurp her. Astrid, her new lover in season 4, betrayed her by sleeping with her son. And also being a woman who's in a position of power and being betrayed by other people who want to overthrow her and take over Kattegat. So she's in a constant position of who do I trust?
Are you really going to allow Lagertha to escape her punishment?
No.
You must have revenge.
Ivar wants to kill her and take revenge for killing his mother. And the other sons are also either want to overthrow her or take Kattegat from her.
Lagertha's a fascinating character. I've thrown just about everything at her. She's had to fight for everything she's got.
I think the fans are going to be very excited for season 5. The fans are going to expect some shockers, some crazy surprises, and it's so far one of my favorite seasons.
I do not want to follow you, Ivar. You are crazy. You have the mind of a child.
You make me laugh.
Shut your mouth!
Ivar, do not listen to him.
No, I guess it must be hard for you now that your mom is dead, knowing she's the only one who ever really loved you.
Ivar.
Ivar!
I think Ivar is in a weird position because in the beginning of season 5, he just killed his own brother. I think he is genuinely sad and scared of himself in a way because he lost control and he never wants to lose control. You know, that wasn't him talking, throwing the axe. That was rage.
The thing about Ivar is he doesn't recognize limits. So these psychological things that help most of us control our emotions or know when to stop pushing boundaries, he has none of that, which makes him really frightening, because you know that if he can kill his brother in an argument, he can do anything.
I know what you're all thinking, but it is not true. I didn't mean to kill him. He made me kill him. He taunted me, he made fun of me. What was I supposed to do? Ivar's emotional journey is complicated. He has a lot of ambitions and he's trying to take over and become the leader of the Great Heathen Army.
He doesn't want to become a farmer. He has no intention of settling down. He's just beginning to see the glory that is ahead of him.
I remember doing a scene where he just won his first battle as the leader. And the way he celebrates is by getting a huge tattoo on his back. I mean, like, he is extreme in every form.
What I think is amazing is that despite the things that Ivar does and why he does them, which is even more astonishing, you don't altogether lose sympathy for him because of his struggles.
Did you take a look around? The work on strengthening the defenses is going well.
Why do you need a personal bodyguard, Ivar? Do you need protection against us, against your brothers?
Of course not.
Then why have them?
I'm a cripple. I need a bodyguard. He has been observing for his entire life because he has not been able to physically be a part of the Viking culture. And I think that has made him very clever.
He had to do, as he says himself, he always had to do better than his brothers to get to the same end, to be famous, despite his condition. And of course it was Ragnar's great fear, his only real fear, was that his sons would become more famous than he was. And you can already tell that Ivar intends to be more famous than his father.
In the first half of season 5, you find Bjorn in the midst of this chaos that was created by the brutal murder of his brother. So this season, you're going to start seeing this conflict over the kingdom of Kattegat.
Sometimes we have to consider things beyond our feelings and think what is best for our people.
I know what our people want, Bjorn.
Bjorn is the head of the family, effectively. Certainly feels he should be. He's the oldest son. But there are dynamics within the family that are already threatening that position.
Why do you think Father chose me to come with him to England? He had a reason for doing so. He told me I was the one who would act for him, who would make sure he was revenged. I understand it must be hard for you to accept that the true heir to the great Ragnar should turn out to be a cripple and a reject.
Ragnar chose to take Ivar to England as the means to revenge the death that he saw coming. So Ivar's always felt very special, as if his father had chosen him to lead the family forward. So there's conflict between Bjorn and Ivar from the beginning.
It seems the only thing that really kept the sons of Ragnar together was the death of their father.
Poor Bjorn, it is you who doesn't want to keep the army together. It is you who wants to go away to sunny places. Everyone else can follow me.
Bjorn and Ragnar shared the same dream, which was to explore and set up new settlements for their people. Bjorn's kind of the outcast in that sense. And he comes to the realization that what's more important above and beyond is fulfilling his father's dream and also exploring for himself.
Bjorn is desperate to return to the Mediterranean. Since finding that map in the raid on Paris, it's haunted him. He feels it's his fate. And it's, in a sense, a good opportunity to avoid the conflicts he can see about to happen within the family dynamic. And to pursue his own future, his own dreams, his own fate.
You cannot leave him in charge of the great army.
I told you this is none of my concern. I plan to return to the Mediterranean.
When Ivar kills Sigurd, Bjorn kind of extricates himself from that whole situation, and he has to follow his path. And he does. Season 5 is magnificent. It's truly incredible. It's very new. There's a lot of new cast and a lot of really great actors that I've had the incredible opportunity to work with and learn from, and together I think we've created something pretty special.
Who wants to be king?
Ragnar disappears from Kattegat for several years after the defeat by Rollo in Paris.
Why did you leave Kattegat?
For, I suppose, many reasons. One is probably shame that he should lose to his brother. And the other reason is that he feels tired and old.
I was no longer interested in ruling anymore.
And he wants to lay down the burden of kingship.
What about you, Sigurd? Do you want to be king?
When he does come back, he is in shambles and he's this just ragged, tramp-like figure. And Sigurd has had this image of Ragnar being almost like a mythical person from the past.
Our father was defeated. He lost. All the magic of his past raids and successes was also lost. Nobody loves him anymore.
They've thought about their dad and who he's going to be, and they kind of hate him for being missing in their lives. And then when he comes back, reality hits.
He's haunted by what happened to the settlement in Wessex, and he feels he has to do something about it.
You know I must go back to England. Should have gone back a long time ago.
But of course his reappearance, his sudden reappearance in Kattegat, produces chaos.
Your father's return brings calamity, disorder, Chaos, tragedy, and death.
He's dealing now with the biggest issues. He's dealing with a sense of his own mortality, of his legacy, of faith. And so he's a more troubled person. And the story of season 4, in a way, is the story of a man carrying an unbearable burden of kingship, of power, and how he still has to exercise it. And the legacy that he leaves to his sons, who will themselves come individually or together into power when he's gone.